Happy Sunday. Welcome back to those of you that are tuning in again. This is Prairie.306. My name is Jess. I am gardening in Regina, Saskatchewan, which is Zone 3B. So we have about 120 days of growing season, and we're, I'd say, about a little under 50 days in, which when you say it that way makes it sound like it's been a long time, but it does not feel like it's been a long time. Oh my goodness. I was doing stuff in the garden and I'm all dirty. I also forgot to shoot my intro before I did my videos, so that's why I'm hanging out in the garage today instead of in my house doing the intro. So this is week 5 of the garden tours. We got rain again this week. We got a thunderstorm that kind of came out of nowhere. Ian and I were sitting on the couch and we saw a flash and we were like, is that lightning? Like, oh, it must be lightning north of the city. And then we just heard boom, whoosh, and a bunch of rain came down. So that was exciting. So everything is mucky and muddy again, and I'm just starting to accept the fact that my backyard might always be muddy, which is fine. Just wear the rubber boots all the time. It's fine. Yeah, so out front, I'm trying to think. Oh, there's one new addition out front, and then in the backyard, a couple things have been changed around. So, yeah, without much further ado, I will get the tour parts going here. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay. So I apologize in advance if this is a little bit windy. It is Saskatchewan, so it's always windy. There's always a breeze. But anyways, here's how the front's doing. So this week we had a random thunderstorm that came out of nowhere and just unloaded a bunch of water, which made everything super happy and super green again. So these little guys are putting up all new flowers, which is exciting because last week not all of them had flowers on them, and it looks like a fair amount of them now do. I gotta deadhead some of the other flowers in here. I just haven't gotten to it. It's also gonna be hot this week, so I'm gonna have to do deadheading and stuff at night to not shock the plants too bad. The lilies are nice and bushy. No signs of new flower heads though, but it is what it is. This coral bell is a little bit sunburnt, but it's got flowers starting, which is exciting. The hosta back here, I feel silly for worrying about it because it's bigger than the one that started earlier. Let's see. The coleus are doing well. They're a little bit bigger than they were. We've determined what is chewing on the dahlias, and it is grasshoppers, which is frustrating because they're super destructive, and it's too early for that shenanigans. So we're gonna have to put some stuff down to deter them. The tulips are starting to wither away, which is normal. The sunflowers have come up. I'm very excited about that. Then this hosta is getting shaded out by these lilies, but that's alright. At least it came back. This heuchera, I'm just floored by it. It's so beautiful. I'm so glad that it survived and came back for me. And my clematis has to be pruned because it did not super enjoy being transplanted. However, it's putting out new growth, so it's not toast, which is nice because I was worried that it was going to be toast. However, this is all new through here, and then this dead stuff just has to be trimmed off. Look at that sunflower. I believe that's the Russian mammoth, and then at least one of those is a red one, and the other one might be the Black Magic F1, which I'm really hoping because they're pretty and they're almost completely black. I did get my petunias planted, finally, as I procrastinated. So there's These ones, which are Proven Winners Black Cherry, and oh, is there an open one? This one. These ones are Dark Saturn. So they'll hopefully fill out this basket really nicely. Give a little more of a visual. The grass is doing really well. It was just cut, so it's nice and even. Weeds I have to take in later because we were weeding the front bed earlier. Just come up on the porch. I love these vines. I feel like they haven't grown a whole bunch, but I love them. They're so beautiful. And the color contrast, oh, it's fantastic. It's just fantastic. Then we come around and we have snaps just doing their thing, being glorious. Like, look at how pretty those are. And then the red ones here, just gorgeous. All yet to be opened. These pink ones are opening. More red ones here that are gonna open. Oh, beautiful. And these pots are doing super well. The colocasia are putting out big new leaves. Well, they'll get bigger as it goes. Coleus are a little bit crispy. That one in particular. This one's doing really well. And the alyssum. Now, let's talk about this alyssum. It is doing exactly what I wanted it to do, which was to more or less cover this pot to keep the moisture, because it is harder to retain moisture in containers because they can dry out super easy. And yeah, these are gonna drape over and spill out and just be beautiful. Might have to pull these pots here away a little bit, but that's all right. Rearrange as we go. Still no real blooms in this lily yet. I'm hoping that might be one there. Could be another leaf. I'm hoping the pink flowers show up soon because I'm really excited to see those. And then we've got this pot, which just decided to show me up. I did buy a sunflower that I'm going to end up putting in here and have these beans climb up for sure, seeing as they've just decided to climb on their own. I think these ones might actually be bush beans, but that's all right. It'll look interesting. And yeah, these are my jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, which I'm not going to get pumpkins off of because I just won't have a season for them to produce big enough fruit to do anything with. Which is alright, because that wasn't the point of these ones. The point of these ones is literally, again, as a cover to keep the soil a little bit more moist, because this is the top soil that we got that is really dry on the top, and then you get down into the bottom and it's really quite moist. Then we have these. I am amazed with these flowers every day that I walk out to go to work, because they're the first thing that I see. And they're so beautiful. Like, look at that purple color. And then I'm hoping when these snapdragons flower, because they're going to be pink, it's going to be quite the lovely contrast. This container, again, the alyssum is just being amazing. So many flowers spilling over, keeping it moist. And the coleus. And then come over here. This is the exciting part of my week. So I've got the nasturtiums that are coming up and getting big, and eventually we'll put flowers out. We've got this one calla that has come up. I don't think my other two are going to come up, but that's all right. We got nice leaves coming in, nice beautiful leaves, and then it has started to open. And I know there's probably be more wow factor if I waited until the whole thing was open, but just look at the color on this. It's so beautiful. I cannot wait until this whole stalk, or the whole bloom stem here, opens up. And then it looks like there might be some more coming up. Yeah, I'm just super excited. So yeah, there's the update on the front. Now we will head out into the back. So things are a little different out here this time. We had to move our tomatoes for a subject that will be discussed later on. So now we don't have pepper alley, we have salsa alley, because we've got tomatoes and peppers. So we've got marigolds in with our tomatoes now as a trap plant, and as you can see, there's no pests in it yet, but hopefully they will catch some stuff and keep it off my vegetables. So we've got Tiny Tim tomatoes, the chocolate cherry, then I've got a candy cane pepper, and I believe that's my arapano pepper, I want to say. And then I've got jalapeno and ghost, purple bell and a regular bell. I've got flowers on my white currant here. Look at the little flowers, they're so pretty. There's new flower buds popping up in here. So Friday I went and I bought 9 plants that were on sale at Sherwood Greenhouses in Regina, because they're having a sale on their vegetables and their annuals and their herbs. So I went after work and I got 2 cucamelon plants because I thought that my cucamelon baskets were not growing. And then I went to put these plants into the baskets and found out that the baskets are growing. So now I have this cucamelon in a pot, and I have another one that I have to grab a trellis for. So yes, I have cucamelons in my salsa alley here. So then we look over here, and we've got the Apaches, the Serranos, the Pepperoncinis, and then the Hungarian hot wax, sweet banana, the Anaheim, and I can't remember the other one. And if you'll notice, we have an issue with spider mites, so we had to dust some things. Hopefully that takes care of our issues. We'll see. Then we got the evil olive tomato. Actually, check to see if we got any suckers on this one. Oh, right there. Boink. And then, what is this one? Oh, that's the Bosque Blue Bumble that's always been sitting there. And then my sad little beefsteak has been moved. This basil was flowering, so I had to rip the flower off. Then there's the poison plant, which just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it because I'm going to run out of space back here for it. But that is a future problem, and I mean, like, we might move it this week depending on what happens, because it's supposed to be really warm and it might jump. And then, so I'm sure a lot of people know what kind of plant this one is. We live in Canada. It is legal to own and grow these plants. And this is the only one that we have. You're allowed to have 4, I want to say. But this is the only one we currently have. And we just moved her outside. For obvious reasons, she has to stay in the backyard. But yes, if you ever hear me refer to Janie, the plant, that would be this one. So, now that we have that out of the way, let's take a look up here. So the mint is doing really well. These petunias are just loving their life. Nope, these are pansies, not petunias. These are pansies. And they're doing super good too. They're gonna get moved right away because we got the bees set up. Today, actually. So we don't have bees yet, but the bees are set up. And then my calendula has a flower on it. Finally. I was afraid I was going to lose it, but I did not. Then there's my pepper plant that is just chilling that I don't know what I'm gonna do with yet. And my sad boys. So I went in to save on foods earlier this week with the intention to buy one sunflower, but then the one sunflower would leave another sunflower, and they are both very sad boys, so I ended up with both of them. One of them is going to go out front, and the other one is going to probably go in the bee bed, which got set up this week. But I have not done anything with them yet because I'm waiting to see how they do. Like I said, they're sad boys. Very, very sad boys. So we come back down the bean shelf here, and we got beans, well, bean plants, and strawberries that are going to get planted in Strawberry Lane. These snapdragons, I don't have room for them, so they're going to go to the mother-in-law. There's no beans in this one yet. I did replant it. Hopefully we get beans out of here soon. This was a mistake. We had a variegated weed, so I pulled it up, transplanted it, was going to see if it survived, and it did not. Lesson learned. More beans. Lots and lots of beans, and this lemon balm is just doing wonderfully, and it smells so good. Like, I wish you guys could smell how wonderful this smells. More beans. Big, beautiful leaves on these beans. The pole beans are climbing, doing what I wanted them to do. Take a look at this. Like, they're all wrapped. This whole row here is done, and it's all kind of wrapped. And then I've got them climbing up the back supports and climbing across the front supports, and they're gonna come across the shelf. And it's going to be beautifully encased in beans. And I know that I'm super close. Hang on, let's see if I can zoom out for you. Oh, that was in. I apologize. There we go. It's gonna look glorious. Already looks glorious. Here's a Tabasco plant that I purchased, again, from Sherwood Greenhouses, because it was on sale. So he thinks this story is funny, which is the only reason I'm going to tell you, because obviously there's a lot of peppers on here that are ready that we're going to end up harvesting later this evening. And Ian came out and was like, oh, I'm just going to snack on a pepper. I'm like, well, those are Tabasco peppers. You know that they're hot. Oh, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Tabasco sauce isn't that bad, so these peppers can't be too bad. Well, he learned his lesson really quickly because apparently they're quite spicy. So, yeah, they're sitting there right now. They may end up staying there. So you can see they're also sitting on a container that I could use to plant other things in. But right now we're just trying to make sure that we have room for everything that we have. Because again, there is a situation that is arising that we have to deal with this week. And it could be interesting for the garden. And yeah, it's not a super awesome story because it makes me very sad, but we will have more updates on that when there's more to update. So obviously, because it rained, we need the rubber boots again. My basket of things to be planted, which is herbs and green leaves, my lettuces and whatnot. Which some people are probably going to be like, that's pretty late to be putting lettuce in, but that's okay. It's not your garden. Alright. So, we got a lot going on here. Beets are up, carrots are up, radish are up, spinach is up. Cabbage loopers are destroying my Copenhagen cabbage here, and it's making me very sad because it was heading up and it was getting eaten. So it got dusted and then it rained, and so it's going to have to be dusted again, but I've been pulling cabbage loopers off of it. However, my red cabbage doesn't have cabbage loopers, thankfully. and they are starting to put out a head too. I have spinach that has bolted because the weather has been funky. Some of it's bolted, some of it is not. I've got tomatoes growing like crazy. I put marigolds in to help trap any bugs. Look at these beets though. These beets are just doing amazing. Overachieving tomatoes, which I'm super excited about. You can see peas growing up that post there. More peas growing up here. Flowers. Like, I'm gonna be harvesting out of this garden really soon, and that makes me very excited. Because I was looking at pictures on my Facebook, and I can probably add those in to this video of what my garden looked like 2 years ago and then last year compared to this year. And it's really awesome, and I'm really proud. I'm really happy. Brings a lot of joy. Then we come to this bed. Ugh. And I have a radish. I think that's a radish. That might not be a radish. Oh no, it's a radish. And it bolted. I got flowers. Pretty flowers. Can't eat them, but pretty flowers. All the little ones that I sowed, I think it was 2 weeks ago, they're all popping up. The eggplants have new leaves on them. This kale did not come up, so this square is empty. Don't know what I'm gonna put in here. I put onions in over here because I was going to plant a type of squash, but I don't have enough days left for the squash to come to a fruit, so I couldn't do that, so they'll be for next year. Kales are coming up over there, lettuces are coming up, peas are climbing, peppers are making flowers, celery is all bunching up. The zucchini is still only putting out male flowers. This is going to become a basil bag. I'm going to just plant a whole bunch of different varieties of basil in it because I don't have any other tomatoes to put in here. Oh my goodness, my boot's stuck. There we go. The potatoes are doing really well. They got more dirt in them and they keep growing on me. They are producing flowers, which I just keep pinching off because I don't want them to flower. Yeah. So that's just a spent zucchini head or flower. Got a bunch of male flowers on him. Don't have any females showing up yet. We're still early. I'm not too concerned. Looking really good. I planted onions in here a couple days ago, so I put 3 more reds, 3 more whites, and 3 more yellows. Alright, and then peas climbing. The celery is looking really good. Really, really good. I'm quite impressed. Really quite impressed. As you guys just get a nice big long shot of how beautiful that celery is, and the peas that are growing. More squash plants are doing really well. Still a whole bunch of male heads, which is normal. The male heads come in, or the male flowers come in first. Hopefully that is not too loud. This one, whole bunch of flowers on it. I think a lot of them are all male still. This is a spaghetti squash. The butternut, I believe it got pollinated because this flower is spent and this keeps getting bigger. So I'm really, really hoping. If not, there's another one starting right there. The watermelon is very thin. I've never grown watermelon before, so I didn't realize how thin it was compared to the other squash plants. I believe this is a volunteer sunflower from last year. This is where I had my sunflower pots. It could also be another type of plant, but I really think it's a sunflower based on the head here. Yeah, the endive is out of control. We'll be harvesting that this week, cutting it back, washing it, preserving it somehow. And then I've got a pea here that wants to be friends with an onion. Just tuck this buddy up in the chicken wire, have him climb up, have him be difficult, but have him climb up this way. Yep, go up there, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. And then more lettuce and whatnot. So here's the cucamelon baskets. See those tiny little green sprouts are what showed me up. My little potato cucumber, the improved long greens are living up to their name. They're probably the biggest ones. My nasturtiums are all growing. Look how beautiful that is. Just gorgeous. And come over here and look at these ones. Try not to disturb the orb weaver that is protecting them. And then I got my strawberry baskets up. I have Strawberry Lane. So there's 4 different kinds of strawberries. 3 of them I don't know what they are. One of them is a Delise strawberry, which is an everbearing. And then I have 2 more strawberries that I bought. One is an Albion strawberry. Ooh, and I forget what the other one is. I have the tag with it still, so when I go and I take a look at it, I will remember what it is. So then we got half of back here dealt with. Not this side, obviously. As you can still see, there's a bunch of thistles. We did get the bee bed in, and I'm going to do a little bit of video magic and pop over to the other side. Okay, I don't think I've ever actually shot from this point of view of the garden, so here's just a nice little different perspective. This is more so the view I see every morning when I wake up, because our window is up just behind me. Get some shots of the cucumber baskets. So these are the pickling buns. And then over here are the Boothie's blondes. Those ones I planted directly in the basket, and they're honestly doing better than the ones I transplanted, which doesn't surprise me because cucumbers don't particularly like to be transplanted or have their roots messed with. But anyways, yeah, so got some carrots, radish, beets coming up, some more carrots. There's these okra plants. So these okra plants got me the same way that the cucamelons got me. I went and I wasn't really looking for anything. Was just kind of going to go. And then I saw these 2 okra plants and I was like, oh hey, you know, I started okra inside and they didn't do very well when I transplanted them, or when I was transitioning them from inside to outside. So I re-sowed them. Never came up. I was like, okay, I'll buy these and we'll get okra and I can grow them from somebody else's starts and we can see if we like them, and next year do things a little bit differently in order to have a better harvest. Well, that's an okra start, and I don't know if you can see it, but that's an okra start. So now I have 4 okra plants possibly, and I'm just like, yep, sure, sounds about right. So that was 2 different vegetables that got me because I was impatient. And now I'm like, cool, I have a whole lot of things that I need to find a space for, which has mostly worked, I think. I'm sure Ian's probably annoyed with me, but that's okay. The corn is coming up too. So this is the peaches and cream corn. This is the blue Hopi corn. I'm really excited to see that grow. They're gonna need to be tied and staked because corn likes to fall over super easy. Yeah. So that's an update of the garden on this side. Now, the biggest updates this week is the flower bee bed. So this is just made from scrap lumber that we had left over from building the canopies. I just drilled it together. I had dirt from the winter sowing experience, which I can talk more about later. I'm not sure if in a zone 3 that it's going to work, especially a zone 3 where my days are really short in the winter. Anyway, so there's cosmos and zinnias planted in there literally for the sake of the bees, which are right in here. So this is the underside of the stairs that we use to get in and out of the back. We put poly up to protect the bees. They don't like getting wet, so we put poly up and we hung them up in here. And if you look, you probably can't see, but those holes all have little larvae that were sent to us. And I believe you need like a minimum of a constant 10-degree temperature in order for them to hatch out. And this week is going to be, I think it was like above 13 even at night. Like it's supposed to be like in the 30s all week. It's going to be a little bit ridiculous. And a little bit of a struggle. But that just seems to be how this year's going. So yeah, we cleared out the thistles. I mean, the thistles will come back, unfortunately. They're a never-ending battle. But yeah, this is our little bee area. And they're leaf cutter bees. They're very tiny. They're great pollinators, which will help me so that I don't have to be out here all the time with Q-tips and paintbrushes trying to pollinate things. However, like with my tomatoes and stuff, I'll still assist the best I can, and with my cucumbers when I remember to. And then yeah, the goal is to have them like it so much here that they stick around and lay their babies back in there, so that when you take that insert out, you store them in the fridge over the winter, and then in the spring/summer when it's warm and nice out again, you bring them back out and you start the whole season over again. I'm really, really excited for this. I really hope it works. So yeah, the pansy baskets, I'm not going to move them under here, but I'm probably going to hang them relatively close because, like I said in a previous video, they really like pansies and they really like roses, but we do not have room in the backyard for roses without getting seriously maimed. So that's the newest and greatest adventure that we're headed on here. I'm really excited. And as I was going through putting the larvae in, obviously like some adults get caught in it, and I found a little adult bee body, and they're so tiny and adorable. I really can't wait to see how they benefit my garden. It's going to be wonderful and beautiful, and I can't wait. And it's already so lush and green, and we're 5 weeks in. I think I've got, well, September 11th is our first predicted frost. Whether that happens then or later, I don't know, but I've got about, I think, just over 70 days, which when you say it like that doesn't seem like much, but I've got all of July, all of August, and half of September still left to grow. And I'm very, very excited. Everything's doing really well. And it's gonna continue to be good. So I thank you guys again for strolling around my little garden with me. And I hope that you enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to pop them into the comments. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your neighbors, tell your acquaintances. Yeah. I will see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.